Hi, welcome to the Logs Season 2.
Captain's log, stardate 3372.7. On course, on schedule, bound for Altair 6 via Vulcan. First Officer Spock seems to be under stress. He has requested and been granted shore leave. Ship Surgeon McCoy has him under medical surveillance. Captain's log, stardate 3468.1. While approaching Polax 4, a planet in the Beta Geminorum system, the Enterprise has been stopped in space by an unknown force of some kind. Captain's log, stardate 3541.9. The presence of Nomad aboard my ship has become nightmarish. Now it apparently means to return to Earth. Once there, it would automatically destroy all life. Captain's log, stardate unknown. During an ion storm, my landing party is beamed back to the Enterprise and found it and the personnel aboard changed. The ship is subtly altered physically. Behavior and discipline has become brutal, savage. Captain's log, supplemental. I command an Enterprise where officers apparently employ private henchmen among the crew, where assassination of superiors is a common means of advancing in rank. Captain's log, stardate unknown. We are trapped in a savage, parallel universe from which we must escape within 4 hours, or I will face a death sentence at Mr. Spock's hands.
The Mirror Universe.
Captain's log, stardate 3715.3. While making a routine exploration of the unexplored Gamma Trianguli 6, one of my men has been killed by a poisonous plant. Captain's log, supplementary. Our investigation of Gamma Trianguli 6 has suddenly turned into a nightmare. We're being watched and followed. Mr. Spock has been injured, and now we find we are unable to return to the ship. Captain's log, stardate 3715.6. We have been introduced to Vol, evidently the source of the planet's power emanations, and possibly the force that threatens both us and our ship. Captain's log, stardate 4202.1. Exceptionally heavy subspace interference still prevents our contacting Starfleet to inform them of the destroyed solar systems we have encountered. We are now entering System L374. Science Officer Masada reports the fourth planet seems to be breaking up. We are going to investigate. Captain's log, stardate 3018.2. Crewman Jackson is dead, and there are no apparent physical causes. Mr. Scott and Mr. Sulu are still out of touch on the planet below. Leaving Assistant Chief Engineer DeSalle in command of the Enterprise, I'm beaming down to the planet's surface to find my 2 missing crewmen and discover what killed Jackson. Captain's log, stardate 4513.3. After having been taken over by an android, the Enterprise has been underway at Warp 7 for 4 days. Now, we are entering orbit around a planet which has never been charted.
Ship's log, stardate 3219.8. Lieutenant Commander Scott recording in the absence of Captain Kirk. A shuttlecraft bearing the captain, the first officer, Chief Surgeon McCoy, and Assistant Federation Commissioner Hedford is now definitely overdue for a rendezvous with the Enterprise. We are attempting to backtrack it. Ship's log, stardate 3220.3. Lieutenant Commander Scott reporting in lieu of the captain and the first officer. We are continuing our search for the missing shuttlecraft.
Captain's log, stardate 3842.3. We have departed Vulcan for the neutral planetoid, codenamed Babel. Since it is in our sector, the Enterprise has been assigned to transport ambassadors of Federation planets to this vitally important council. The issues of the council are politically complex. The passengers, explosive. Captain's log, stardate 3842.4. The Interplanetary Conference will consider the petition of the Corridon planets to be admitted to the Federation. The Corridon system has been claimed by some of the races now aboard our ship as delegates, races who have strong personal reasons for keeping Corridon out of the Federation. The most pressing problem aboard the Enterprise is to make sure that open warfare does not break out among the delegates before the conference begins.
Captain's log, stardate 3843.4. First Officer Spock in temporary command. The captain has been critically wounded by one of the delegates to the Babel conference. The ship is on alert status. We are still being followed by the intruder vessel.
Captain's log, stardate 3497.2. Planet Capella 4. The rare mineral topoline, vital to the life support systems of planetoid colonies, has been discovered in abundance here. Our mission? Obtain a mining agreement. But we have discovered a Klingon agent has preceded us to the planet, a discovery which has cost the life of one of my crewmen.
Captain's log, stardate 3498.9. Lieutenant Commander Scott in temporary command. We were forced to leave Capella to come to the aid of a Federation vessel under attack by a Klingon vessel. We were unable to contact our landing party before we were forced to answer the distress signal. Our inability to reach the landing party is strange, and I am concerned.
Captain's log, stardate 3499.1. Before leaving the Capellan encampment, we managed to retrieve our communicators. Our faces were not to be found. We have fled into the hills, yet we know the Capellans will eventually find us, by scent alone if necessary. And we have learned one thing more. The girl, Eliane, hates the unborn child she is carrying. Captain's log, stardate 3478.2. On a routine mission to resupply the experimental colony at Gamma Hydra 4, we discovered a most unusual phenomenon. Of the 6 members of the colony, none of whom were over 30, we found 4 had died and 2 were dying of old age. Captain's log, stardate 3579.4. The Enterprise personnel who beamed down to the planet's surface, Dr. McCoy, Engineer Scott, Mr. Spock, Lieutenant Galway, and myself, are all showing definite signs of aging. Only Ensign Chekhov appears to be normal. Captain's log, stardate 3619.2. With the mysterious death of 2 crewmen, all personnel on the planet have been evacuated back to the ship. Captain's log, stardate 3619.6. One of the men in critical condition. The other is dead. And I am now even more convinced that this is not only an intelligent creature, but the same which decimated the crew of the USS Farragut 11 years ago in another part of the galaxy. Both Spock and McCoy are doubtful of this, and I sense they also doubt my decision to stay and fight the thing. Why am I keeping the ship here? Personal log, stardate 3620.7. Have I the right to jeopardize my crew, my ship, for a feeling I can't even put into words? No man achieves Starfleet command without relying on intuition. But have I made a rational decision? Am I letting the horrors of the past distort my judgment of the present? Captain's Captain's log, stardate 3614.9, planet Argelius 2. While on therapeutic shore leave, Mr. Scott has fallen under suspicion of having brutally murdered an Argelian woman. The chief city administrator, Mr. Hengist, has taken charge of the investigation but has learned little of value. Captain's log, stardate 3615.4. With Mr. Scott in a technical state of arrest, we have beamed aboard the Enterprise to continue the investigation. Captain's log, stardate 4523.3. Deep Space Station K7 has issued a Priority 1 call. More than an emergency, it signals near or total disaster. We can only assume the Klingons have attacked the station. We're going in, armed for battle. Captain's log, stardate 4524.2. A Klingon warship is hovering only 100 kilometers from Deep Space Station K7, while its captain waits in the station manager's office. Their intentions are unknown.
Yes, you have heard the one you just heard, the one before, and the one you're about to hear.
Captain's log, stardate 4525.6.
Look at.
A small disturbance between the Klingon crew and members of the Enterprise crew has broken out aboard Space Station K7. I am forced to cancel shore leave for both ships.
So, yeah, you heard all those in the lookout I did when I unboxed it and everything. It's because it's from the first thing I ever saw of the original Star Trek. Either I saw it from Deep Space Nine.
Captain's log, stardate 3211.7. We are entering standard orbit about Gamma 2, an uninhabited planetoid with an automatic communications and astrogation station. Captain's log, stardate 3211.8. While beaming down from the Enterprise to inspect facilities on Gamma 2, the normal transporter sequence has been interrupted, and we find ourselves on a strange and hostile planet surrounded by creatures belonging to races scattered all through the galaxy.
Captain's log, stardate 3259.2. First Officer Spock in command. The captain, Lieutenant Uhura, and Ensign Chekhov have been missing for nearly 2 hours. Computer probability projections are useless due to insufficient data.
Captain's log, supplemental, stardate unknown. Our strange captivity continues. This planet is called Triskelion. We do not know its location. We do not know who controls it. Its dangers are abundantly clear.
Ship's log, Mr. Spock reporting. Incredible as it seems, Dr. McCoy and I are once again prisoners of the chief criminal boss of a society patterned after old Earth gangsters.
Captain's log, stardate 4307.1. Approaching Starbase 6 for a much-needed period of rest and recreation. Captain's log, stardate 4308.8. It is now 10 minutes since we entered the zone of darkness. We have stopped engines while we seek a defense against the energy drain which seems to pervade the zone. Captain's personal log, stardate 4309.2. We've established that the thing which destroyed the USS Intrepid and the Gamma 7A system is an incredibly huge but simple cellular being whose energies are totally destructive to all known life. Both Mr. Spock and Dr. McCoy have volunteered to go in a specially equipped shuttlecraft, penetrate the cell, find a way to destroy it, and free the ship. Dr. McCoy has the medical, biological knowledge. Spock is better suited physically and emotionally to stand the stress. Both are right. capable? And which of my friends do I condemn to death?
One thing I forgot to do is this.
Captain's personal log.
So if you, let's say, go there, then go stop, it brings it all the way back to the beginning.
Captain's log, stardate 4309.4. We have determined we can destroy the creature, provided we can do it from inside the organism. Spock clearly knew how to destroy it, but was unable to transmit that information.
Personal log. Commander Spock, USS Enterprise. I have noted the passage of the Enterprise on its way to whatever awaits it. If this record should survive me, I wish it known that I bequeath my highest commendation and testimonial to the captain, officers, and crew of the Enterprise, the finest starship in the fleet.
We have arrived at the chromosome body in the nucleus of the organism. If we should fail in our attempt to destroy it, or be unable to free ourselves, I wish to record my recommendations for the following personnel. They receive special citation. Lieutenant Commander Leonard McCoy, Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scott, officers Chekhov, Cowell, Uhura. And my highest commendation for Commander Spock, science officer, who gave his life in the performance of his duty. Captain's log, stardate 4211.4. Keeping our presence here secret is an enormous tactical advantage. Therefore, I cannot risk contact with Starfleet Command. I must take action on my own judgment. I have elected to violate orders and make contact with planet inhabitants here.
Medical log, stardate 4211.8. Kirk is right about the people here. Despite their fear and our strangeness, they are compassionate and gentle. I've learned the Hunter Tyree is now their leader. He is expected to return shortly with his wife, who they say knows how to cure this poison. My problem, the captain is in deep shock. I must keep him warm and alive until then.
Captain's log, stardate 4768.3. The Enterprise is in orbit above a planet whose surface, our sensors tell us, is devoid of all life. A world destroyed and dead for at least 500,000 years. Yet from it comes a voice, the energy of pure thought, telling us something has survived here for those thousands of centuries. Since exploration and contact with alien intelligence is our primary mission, I've decided to risk the potential dangers and resume contact. Log entry out.
Enterprise medical log, stardate 4769.1. 3 alien minds now inhabit the bodies of Captain Kirk, Science Officer Spock, Dr. Ann Mulhall. As planned, the construction of android robots is underway. All is proceeding as expected and as promised. I can find no reason for concern, but yet I am filled with foreboding. Medical log, stardate 4770.3. Do I list one death or two? When Kirk's body died, Sargon was too far distant from his receptacle to transfer back. Sargon is dead, but is Captain Kirk dead? His body is, but his consciousness is still in the receptacle into which it was transferred earlier.
Captain's log, stardate 4657.5. Work is proceeding on the Enterprise as my crew is forced to make the required changes in the ship for intergalactic travel. I can't forget the picture of Yeoman Thompson, crushed to a handful of dust. Captain's log, stardate 4658.9. With the Enterprise under control of the Kelvins, we are approaching the energy barrier at the edge of our galaxy. Spock and Scotty have devised a suicide plan to stop the Kelvins. They have rigged the ship to explode on my signal. Captain's log, aboard the USS Exeter, commanded by Ron Tracy, one of the most experienced captains in the Starfleet. What could have happened to him and the over 400 men and women who were on this ship? Captain's log, supplemental. The Enterprise has left the Exeter and has moved into close planet orbit. Although it appears the infection may strand us here the rest of our lives, I face an even more difficult problem. A growing belief that Captain Tracy has been interfering with the evolution of life on this planet. It seems impossible. The Star Captain's most solemn oath is that he will give his life, even his entire crew, rather than violate the Prime Directive. Captain's log, stardate 4729.4. The M5 computer has been installed on board ship, and we have left the space station for test maneuvers. Captain's log, stardate 4731.3. The M5 Multitronic unit has taken over total control of the Enterprise. Captain's log, stardate 4040.7. On the surface of Planet 4, System 892, the landing party has won the confidence of what obviously is a group of runaway slaves. They dwell in caves not far from a large city, wear rags, live under primitive conditions, but they are creatures of a heavily industrialized 20th century type planet, very much like Earth, an amazing example of Hodgkin's law of parallel planet development. But on this Earth, Rome never fell. A world ruled by emperors who can trace their line back 2,000 years to their own Julius and Augustus Caesars. Captain's log, stardate 4040.9. Uniformed police like those of Earth. A great city like Rome with automobiles. Astonishing similarities to 20th century Earth down to the fine carbon steel in the bars.
Ship's log, stardate 4041.2. Chief Engineer Scott recording. Captain Kirk and his landing party have checked in, but they have used the code term condition green, which means they're in trouble. But it also prohibits my taking any action. Enterprise log, Engineer Scott reporting. All banks in readiness for disruption of power sources on the planet's surface.
Captain's log, stardate 4041.7. Note commendation, Engineering Officer Scott. Despite enormous temptation and strong personal feelings, he obeyed the Prime Directive. His temporary blackout of the city below resulted in no interference with the society, and yet saved the lives of myself and the landing party. Captain's log. Using the light speed breakaway factor, the Enterprise has moved back through time to the 20th century. We are now in extended orbit around Earth, using our ship's deflector shields to remain unobserved. Our mission? Historical research. We are monitoring Earth communications to find out how our planet survived desperate problems in the year 1968.
Fun fact, the episode was made and came out in 1968. I think. No, 67. But it came out in the 60s, so they didn't have to do much.
Captain's log supplemental.
Pretty sure
A man in a 20th century business suit. What is he? Not even Spock's Vulcan neck pinch could stop him. Without our phasers, He would have overpowered all 5 of us. I find it difficult to believe the mysterious Mr. 7 can be human. And yet, suppose he is. Captain's log supplemental. Spock and I in custody. Even if we talked, they wouldn't believe us. We're powerless to stop Mr. 7 or prevent the launch, or even be certain if we should. I have never felt so helpless.
Okay, that's the end of the season 2 lot.